Hello everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here on the front lines, and just showing someone who's having a interesting morning, clearing his front from extra snow. So let me guys switch on back here one second. So anyway, I'm here starting the show. No tank because I'm started it early. He should be coming on in 15 minutes or so, just to get going with some things. And I would say I was just listening to Thomas Williams. Well, he said it wasn't a show; it's more a notice, or I guess did you say notice or yeah, something like that. That it's Earth revocation. So it's basically a way to say that we're throwing off the old and moving forward. I must say that this Earth revocation is a bit heavy for some people, and the reason is because unless you've listened to a lot of what Thomas has to say, you'll end up wanting to say he's anti-Semitic or he's against Christianity or everything you can throw at him, and it's because it's not so cut and dry, and as he does a lot of research and what a lot of people rely on for their beliefs or spiritual beliefs get challenged in the conversation. I actually think it's very valuable to listen to what he has to say and to make it be a way of reflecting on what is been put out there in the world. As to say that there is a lot of information that doesn't come to us. As we know, in war, and we've been at war, not a war like World War I and World War II, not in Vietnam War or the Korean War, not in the Revolutionary War, not in the War of 1812, not in any of these wars that we would find in our normal history books in classrooms around the world. But this war is against humanity, against the goodness of humanity. And when you win the war, you write the history books. And a lot of the information that is out there is, they say distorted in one way or another. And I guess one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up, he's in this particular Earth revocation that Thomas is going into. He's speaking about, say, the Christmas period, right? December 25th, and the winter solstice, and how this is their holidays, meaning it's the Cabal's, for lack of a better term, the Cabal's holidays. The ones that are worshiping, the dark sun, and that we're literally in a battle, that was set up by, to have two warring negative sides fighting for who's going to be dominant over one or the other. And these two sides, have their beliefs, and these are their holidays. And Thomas's opinion about it is that we just go along with it. Well, I get that, and I've kind of shied away from Christmas for quite a few years. But when I go back to thinking about what Christmas has meant to me as a child, what Christmas has meant to me as a young parent, I look at all the joy that's there. None of this negativity. And I'm not willing to concede these times to the dark side. You know, whatever the rhetoric from, you know, that they put out and that there's a back and forth about, this is a time where the shortest day, the least amount of light in a day on Earth was, for me, yesterday, the 22nd, on this side of the planet. For others, it was the 21st. That particular day has the least amount of light, and then from that period, for about 3 days, it's about the same, right? It's transitioning into where the days become longer. And starting on December 25th, roughly, is the first day. And I'd like to also, point out that in this, that we have this letter from Kim. Let me bring that up. Dated December 21st. Share this message from the Universal Council. Now, I know that this has been read by Tank, and I've sent it around to others, and I think it's well worth going ahead and reading it again. So let me make sure that I have it broadcasting. Yes, okay. Yeah, I can maybe boost this up a little bit. Let me see, make it a little bit easier to read for everybody. That probably did it. Let me check and verify. Yes, all right. So again, Kim's message from the Universal Council by Speak Project, December 21st, 2019. Kim/Manna blog post 1 comment. You know, we can see about the comments too. So today, the age of decadence amongst your elites comes to a close. That's good, right? Do not forget what is to be human. Caring, sharing, loving still exists and continues to exist regardless of the dark one's penetration into your world. Well, there we go, right? Yeah. So we still have, joy, right? We still have, the light in us, regardless of what is happening with the present, that penetration of the dark side into things. Taking over holidays, taking over special places on the planet, positive energy places, and putting negative. Should we just say forget them? Let them have those days? Let them have those locations? No. Anyway, let me continue. You have never lost your balance and remain caring beings of light, not just for humans, but for all of us, and for what we for that we thank you. We thank you for all you have done. Source is the oneness that binds us all, and we are all beings of light, and the one in the eyes of the Creator, and one in the eyes of the Creator. So that is a powerful statement, right? Source is the oneness that binds us all, and we are all beings of light, and the ones in the eyes of, and one in the eyes of the Creator. That also means the ones that are on the dark side, by the way. Today is most important day, dear one. Do not be fearful of the coming new age of the light worker. It is your time to shine. So shine brightly. You are an amazing, resilient species and a marvel of His creation, a light in the darkness. You never lost faith and hope in us, and in the hope that one day we could all coexist as brothers and sisters in the light that binds us all. And for that, we thank you. Our universe is no longer hollow. We can rejoice and be thankful. Our source has returned, and His universe is safe once again for many millennia to come. We will rebuild all that has been destroyed by the dark destroyer. Today we invite you to celebrate with us, for today marks a momentous day not only in this universe, but in all of existence. Enjoy the beautiful display of light which pervades throughout your universe. As for Midgard, what you call Earth, the death of the destroyer is the death of the destroyer at your hands springs new hope eternal for all Earth's inhabitants. This is an amazing time for you as a species. From today forward, you will feel as if a great weight has been lifted. It is a time of learning and growth. Gone is the era of stagnation, and welcome is the new age of source. So, when I read this, this death of the destroyer at your hands springs a new hope eternal for all Earth's inhabitants. And I also recall in this us as Midgard as the name of a planet. So, I think of that movie Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, right? And Lucy, who was there, the perfect being, right? That fifth element is love. And what does it stop? It stops the Dark Destroyer. I think that's what its name was in the movie. I wanted to look back and check it, but I think that they called it the Dark Destroyer, or the Dark One. And it was coming to Earth to destroy everything. And it ends up becoming a moon, right? With love, it just freezes it, and all of a sudden there's a new moon. Anyways, so anyway, that's what I just had that as a visualization that we've actually, well, the point here is that we've already had the death of the destroyer at our hands, right? We've already destroyed the destroyer. We've killed the destroyer. Interesting enough. All right, I continue. Congratulate your fellow humans on a job well done. We could not have survived this without you, our dear friends. Darkness cannot coexist in the presence of the light. Shine brightly, my dear ones, each one of you, for this is the only way to overcome the oppressors. Each one of you has a role to play. You may think you are too small, too insignificant, but it's not true. It is the law of the universe. I will respect. Darkness cannot exist in the presence of light of the Creator. Bask in all its glory and amazement to watch the Creator's work permeate throughout your world. We go in peace and love of the Creator and remain forever in your debt. Abundance you have been praying for shall now be yours. Let me read that again. Abundance you have been praying for shall now be yours. In peace, love, and in spirit of sharing, do not repeat mistakes of your human oppressors. In peace, love, and light of the creators, the Universal Council. Well, that's it, right? So it was an amazing statement from Kim. And one of the things why I'm looking at in starting this new project on Christmas Day, 12:01 a.m. Fiji time, which is about 7 p.m. Christmas Eve for me, is not giving up these days. That from now on, the days of light get longer and longer and longer. This is the beginning. And I'm not conceding to the dark any of those precious things that I had in my past that I considered wonders and joys. The act of being Santa Claus for my children. The act of being Santa Claus for many children, and developing a route over the years to dressing as Santa and going through villages and passing out candies and toys. Why would I want to concede any of these? I don't care what they did in the darkness. It has no effect or bearing upon the happiness and joy that I'm performing. Now, this is what I am doing. So no, I do not concede those days. So I'm very happy to start this project. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because it is very much at hand. I'm to express these things. And even choosing this date and People are questioning, well, you know what Christmas really is all about. Sure, God, they did some bad things. I can't be responsible for what they're doing. I can only be responsible for what I'm doing. And if I can spread abundance and joy and happiness on this day, I'm going to do that. Maybe there gets enough abundance and joy and happiness out there that they stop doing those things because they're just playing on the wrong side of the fence. So, all right. Well, I think that's good to start. Now, I have been so much focused on this new push. Guys. I'm preparing, to give my presentation tomorrow. I'm very excited about where things are going with it, but as such, I'm still trying to keep tabs on what's going on. But most of it's kind of like in a limbo, right? Trump is out, pushing out there into rallies. Oh, I'll have to hold on. I'll be right back. You were on, Tank. Why weren't you speaking?
I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were live.
I'm live. I just had to stop for a moment because I'm trying to coordinate with my wife. She's leaving from one place and going to another. I had to take the call, so I had to put it on pause. I not pause, but mute and turn off the video. And you came on, but that's okay.
So what's going on, man? Pretty exciting weekend so far.
Yeah, well, I just I went over. I was listening to Thomas Williams and his Earth Revocation and him going into things and I was saying, I get what the bad guys out there have been doing and using these holidays, and we're unwilling participants in their game, or unknowing participants in their game. And I said that I'm not really willing to concede these days of happiness and joy that I had experienced with my children, playing Santa Claus for them. It doesn't, what they do in the darkness does not stop me from doing good things in the light. So
absolutely.
I'm not going to.
If you look at that letter from the Universal Council,
I read that just now. I just finished it.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's one principle that repeats. It says, and I repeat, the darkness cannot survive or exist in the presence of the light of the Creator. Now, to me, the crux of that is that the light of the Creator has always been something that if you were going to find it, the first place you are going to find it is inside of you.
Yeah.
So, well, in my opinion, now I'll tell you something. I don't talk about this stuff too much, but I'll tell you, the past 2 years with Kim, really the first time in my life I've been encouraged and kind of put myself in a state where I'm constantly in meditation, where I'm constantly trying to better understand the spiritual and greater reality of everything around us. Now, I've spent my whole life trying to understand these things, but it's only in the past 2 years I've really put effort in. Now, I've seen certain things, and I have seen that when this planet gets free, the light, it comes from us. Okay, it doesn't come from anything outside of us. It comes from within. It comes from inside out.
Yep.
You know. So that's something I'm always focused on. And I'll tell you, today, for anybody who doesn't know, if you go to the Speak Project under Sherry Edwards, and you go all the way to the bottom, there's an article there, and all the way at the bottom there's two frequencies. One is like 8 minutes long, one is 18 minutes long, and they're basically designed to to destroy any kind of pathogenic disease, right? But specifically, it's talking about the flu, right? Now, it's for experimental purposes only because we're not allowed to say anything does anything for anything, right? Because unless it's a pharmaceutical drug that they're getting a major profit from, you're not allowed to actually do any good, right? So I don't want to, so I'll just put that as a caveat, but screw that. I know what it does. Everything vibrates according to a frequency, and they don't have the right to tell us that if we are able to change the frequency, that we can't change or kill a disease of any kind. So, now maybe it won't work for everybody, maybe. But for the most part, in my experience, these frequencies are incredibly powerful, and they'll wipe things out, right? So this actor, right? He is he had some kind of illness, and it ended up like destroying his large intestine, and basically lost his career, and he dropped down below like 100 pounds, right? So it's pretty slight. And then he heard about Sherry Evans, and he started working with her. And he started taking the frequencies that she gave him, and he just started playing his guitar to those frequencies, right? So he tuned his guitar to that frequency, and just started, playing around with songs, right? And just by the practice of being engaged in that music, he started to heal. And now he's completely recovered. He's put weight back on. He's healthy again. He feels good again, right? So now I'm just kind of throwing that out there, right? Because in the midst of them trying to kill us, this man just sat there practicing his guitar, right? Now, what he did was he actually wrote a song, and the first one is 8 minutes long. It's Les Ciel, I think it's called. Now, I took that song today, and I looped it, because I felt like it was only 8 minutes, and I really wanted people to have something they could just play if they wanted to, like 30 or 40 minutes, right? So I looped the song until it created like a little clip of about 40 minutes. And then what I thought I would do, because it's Christmas time, right? It's the end of the year, and I just wanted to thank people for all the support that they've had just watching us.
I think I need to listen to the frequencies because I have been coughing for the last 3-4 minutes.
Well, I highly recommend it. As a matter of fact, I had it playing in my daughter's room right now because she had a little cough, and I played it this afternoon for her, and it already she felt better, right? And I could see it. It's obvious. She almost completely stopped coughing today. But then at nighttime, I just put it on there just in case. But to this point, right? So I looked at it. I'll send it to you directly, Dan. But okay. I put this 40 minutes. What I decided to do is I decided to just grab some of the moments that I had in my phone. Now, I've had 3 phones this year. So I've had a lot of data along the way that's like in one phone and not another, right? So just in the phone I've had, I just pulled data from that phone. And I started going back through this year, right? In the midst of chaos, disappointment, and all this stuff. And I was just amazed at not just the things that have happened in the show, but just in, the moments I've had with my kids and pictures like that, and, the amazing breakthroughs that I've watched other people have, right? That are associated with us, and incredible, life-changing moments, right? Those moments where you get to connect with people that you love, and you get to create this memory that becomes, a part of your permanent landscape, right? Of something that you got a chance to do, right? And new connections and new relationships that we form, right? And so for 40 minutes, I just took little clips, like 20-second clips, right, all the way through this. And I had so many. I couldn't believe how many incredible moments we've had just since you and I started the show.
Oh yeah.
right?
That's great you're doing that, because I was thinking that would be like a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah, and Sid is going to be really pulling. She's actually doing it better. like a lot of times, like I'll put my version, like kind of together, and I'm always juggling. I mean, I could do it, but no, she really is.
I was thinking about this. If I was to try and hire someone to do it, I wouldn't have the time to explain how to do it. So it would have to be someone who was already like attuned to, what was already going on and knew what was important and what wasn't, and how to go about, that. So it's wonderful that she's doing it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's a huge advantage. And Sid and I just kind of, we both kind of just the whole time, like Sidori has been with me from the very beginning, the launch of the Speak Project. And there's other people that are around who came along, right? But Sid's like my right hand, and she's been there the whole time, right? And I had other people very close who just fell off. I mean, it was just too much, right? And but it's so fascinating. Like we both just kind of embrace this attitude, like, look, just jump in, man. Like just act like you've been there. So we walk into everything with that same attitude, like, yeah, we do this all the time.
Yeah, there's 100 million coming into today. Just pour me some coffee.
Yep. Like exactly. Like, $100 million in the account in the morning. I'll just follow protocol, make steps, and start moving money, and be like, hey. And they'll be like, well, have you done this before? I'm like, that's not your concern. That's not your concern.
Yeah, why are you asking
your
me that
concern
question?
Is what would you like me to do, Mr. Rao? So.
Yeah, act like you're supposed to be there.
Exactly. But we are supposed to be here. That's the thing. It's like, we've earned our seat at the table, and and I personally, I don't see a value in getting bogged down with all of the negativity that's happened, and if you're living in a state of constantly being skittish and jumpy, like how comfortable is that? How high could your vibration possibly be, right?
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Yeah, definitely one of those things that's amazing that we're at where we're at. So we're the path that we follow to get here, is unique. So do we pay our dues? Of course, but I don't even see it really that way. That's just one way of looking at it, right? We were on this path, so obviously that's why we're here. All of a sudden we're here. We're at the destination. Oh yeah, I remember. I had to took a left over there and a right, and I jumped over the obstacles over there and dug a tunnel and got launched. Get launched in a catapult, and
Yep, I do know.
Were some springs in my shoes?
Yeah, I second Dan, you're talking to me, trying to change it here.
Hello.
Hey, all right, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I just, that's really where we're at. We just have to, it's kind of the nature of being a leader, right? Like some people are just going to lead naturally. And like part of being a leader is you're going into ground that, you don't know what to expect, right? You just don't know. But what you begin to have confidence in is exactly what that letter talks about. You begin to have confidence in the spirit that is in you. And there's a line in that letter that says, you may think that you're too insignificant, that you're not important enough. And that's not true, right? That's something to that effect, right? And I love that line. And in fact, that line gets me choked up every time I read it. Because I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. I think about it. That is something I've fought with for years. Feeling like I'm too insignificant. I don't have a role to play.
Right.
And that's not true. All of us have a role to play. And one of the biggest obstacles we have to overcome is just our own personal internal doubt, right? If you want to overcome that, it always comes down to a detailed investigation of essential matters that exist within us. They don't exist on Twitter. They're not being talked about on the mainstream media or in the alternative media.
Well, they get censored on Twitter.
Well, yeah. I mean, the things that exist within us, right? Our biggest obstacles are the challenges we face in our own perception of things, even more so than the collective consciousness that we're dealing with, which is by itself hard, right? But if you want to change a collective, all you can really change is your own perspective, your own actions, your own attitude, right?
Yep.
But that's contagious. That's contagious. Like, somebody told me how easy it is to fall into hate. Well, yes, it is. But hate requires a constant, direct current to keep it alive, right? You got to constantly remind yourself that you're mad at somebody. You got to constantly remind yourself why you're pissed off, right? That's why they're constantly bombarding you with new reasons to hate somebody, right?
Right.
But love is effortless. Love is effortless. It is so easy to love your kids, to be in love. Nobody ever complains about being in love. No one's like, oh, love.
I'm in love again? Oh, no.
Great. I'm always happy. I always think about this person. It's wonderful. Like, nobody says that, right? Because it's effortless. Like, it's a wonderful thing to be in love. It inspires men to do amazing things. It get better jobs and build bigger houses and more creative artwork, Like, that's amazing. Why not build everything from that place, And let that be our reality that we create together. We all just kind of agree, look, we don't need to exact our vengeance. How about we just go and be exceptional? How about we just go and pursue every single dream we ever had?
You mean human exceptionalism?
Yes, exactly. Human exceptionalism. Be outstanding. Be amazing. Why not?
Right.
Why not go and do that? Why not take every dream we ever had and put every ounce of energy we have and make them all come true? And then enjoying them and appreciating every single day. And let's just see what happens. Worst case scenario, we fail at something along the way. But imagine all we'll accomplish just in the effort and the intention to do it. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. So let me ask you, any news from Kim?
I don't have any news from Kim. Today's first day of Hanukkah, so I had to go around and do a bunch of things with the kids and stuff. So I had to go take care of the in-laws.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. My Catholic grandmother, always lit the menorah.
Really?
Yeah. It's like when you're a kid, you're not really questioning these things, right? It's like, well, that's Jewish, right? My grandmother was not Jewish or anything, but she recognized, the value that was placed in it, right? And she honored that. So it was fun for me. Hey, that's chocolates that got popped out of the back of the calendar.
Right. We were, we hang, we hang out with the family, it's a very, they're spinning the dreidel, literally, but they're placing bets, for all kids. I'm like, it's not really a back alley game, but it's not far from it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So we're I always didn't really get this dreidel thing though.
Well, it's there's 4 sides to the dreidel. Each one means something different. One means you take half, one means you take everything, one means you get nothing. And it's like a competition. And whoever gets, you just go around in a circle and you spin the dreidel. And you bet, right? Everybody puts up, the first person. It's kind of like poker,
Oh, it's like Catholic form of bingo.
Kind of, but you're playing almost like poker, right? You're running around through this, and and I'm a big fan of playing any kind of games, and I love to talk a lot of smack when I'm playing. So, And my boys do the same thing. So, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, like, my son found like a 1942 penny, right?
Okay.
So, like, the most stereotypical, like, so then we were like examining the pennies because it had all these old pennies. So we were like going through all the pennies to see if anything was worth anything. See, we'd have a Hanukkah miracle.
Right.
Good
Right.
time. Good time.
See if you find any hay pennies.
Yeah, I had a bunch of hay pennies. Yeah. And they're like 1942, and
Well,
I say all types of things about pennies right now. Which ones are good?
Yeah. Well, if you haven't got a hay penny, then God bless you.
Yeah, right. You got a penny. A hay penny will do. That's right. Anyway.
So no news from Kim.
No.
No updates in the new front. We're here on the beginning of the new age of abundance, which is another interesting thing. When I read this again, Kim's letter today, at the beginning. Well, not quite the beginning. Just after I went through Thomas's stuff, I kind of was because it's a I thought it was important to kind of highlight this is that that this is what we're going to make out of it. This is our manifestation. Someone's giving me a call. Sorry about that.
Okay. So what was Thomas? I mean, I know Thomas was talking about the winter solstice, right?
Yeah. Oh. Why don't you talk for a little while?
Sure.
All right.
Sure, I can talk a little while.
All right.
Yeah, so I know that right now, my perception of all this, right, is that you have this very, very essential transitional moment, right? It's up to us what we're going to do with it, because I took a day not to harass Kim, because obviously when she drops a letter on that like that on me, I've been pushing and waiting and doing my part for a long time, so I'm like, kind of on the fence. Like, well, I want to just ask her, like, does that mean this? Like, can we really move forward? Because in the end, it does say that the abundance you pray for will now be yours. And I'm not a fan always of the galactic perception of time and space, right? It would seem at times that there is no time and space there. So it's like, well, now is kind of an elastic term for them, right? But because it was sent directly to us, I have to believe that they're speaking in terms that are real to us. That it's really a call to say, look, they're done. And we're referring to real dates on our calendar, right? Like today, as of today, it's done, right? The elite decadence, age of elite decadence is over. Now, that says to me, if the elite decadence is over, that means that the people have got to be empowered to actually restore themselves, right? So I have to believe that the people play a very, very significant, if not the most significant part in that. For that to be a real thing, that means, in my opinion, that funding has got to be available very shortly. Because we've got to be able to put money out to people and actually give them the opportunity to recover and to restore and to be able to stand up and actually make a difference and actually start to rebuild these things, right? And we've got amazing teams around the world right now, that are ready to go. And they're the right group. We got amazing groups in Denmark and in England and in Australia and Indonesia and Fiji and all over the place, right? And all over South America and Ecuador, and all over the place, right? We have all this incredible energy of well-qualified people who just know, whether they call it, being a star seed or a soul contract or just being, called by a higher calling. It's all the same source next to all of us, right? That inspires us and encourages us and motivates us, enables us and empowers us to have gone down this pathway. And to go down this pathway, look, a lot of the time on this path we spent alone. But right now, you're feeling the energy of calling together all the right people. Now, I've been watching this happen for years now, is all these different individuals, all the right individuals at the exact right moment come into my field, just as I need them. It's amazing. So what I see happening now, and as I've said many times, there are things that have got to change simultaneously. And I truly believe that people had to put certain things in place. So I think that's why Lawful America is such an important piece, right? To have something that is investigating constitutional violations and enforcing actual action against those who have violated those rights. And then further to actually be funded to have force and energy behind that, not just to have it be something that is, paperwork that's filed, nobody does anything about it, right? That requires money. That requires people that are getting paid to do it. That requires actual authority, right? And that is essential to what's happening. So the law is important. The media, we have to create better branches of media. We also have to serve in lawful action those in the media who have perpetuated fraud against the American people, because perpetuating fraud against the president and fraud to the American people, which have caused them to make bad decisions based on false reporting. And because of that, that is actually in the Constitution. If you perpetuate fraud on someone, it is an act. It is a crime. It's a constitutional violation. But in this case, it would actually be treason, because it actually is an act of war against the American people, right? Another thing that's in the Constitution that nobody really talks about is this is actually in the congressional bylaw, right? That Congress cannot remove the liability of any corporation. Well, and this is 1986 law for the vaccines. That's exactly what they did. That is a bylaw. They're a corporation, and they removed the liability. So we have now we really do, by the way, but the perception would be that there's no way to hold them accountable. So they don't have to do it. They're supposed to do research, which they didn't do. And yet they just passed approved another vaccine for Ebola. So if you can imagine the horror stories we're telling you about all these other things out there, imagine the adverse events that are going to take place for Ebola, and that starts as early as 1 year old. 1 year old. That is a terrifying reality, in my opinion, because you're looking at something that we already know is fraudulent. We already know it's part of a grander agenda. And what it does is it gives authority and jurisdiction to the United Nations, which they do not have. But unless the people stand up and stand together, there's no chance of us taking that out. And we have got to do that. So everybody out there, please, 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 stand up, volunteer. We got lots and lots and lots of work to do, and we're going to need you. And it looks like in the very, very near future that we will be able to actually pay you a very reasonable wage and help out, while you're getting your project together and everything else. So we need the law to go. We need the media to change. We need education to change, right? So we have the Green Lantern University ready to launch, and I cannot wait to be able to fund that. And I just contacted by one of our members. She has a whole group of professors that are chomping at the bit, ready to put out actual content of a serious curriculum and very innovative teaching styles that we can use online as well as at schools all across the country. Anybody's ever heard me talk about this plan is that the idea is to launch the actual online university and offer that to students in high school in their junior and senior year, give them college credits for their classes, which we are about 2 years away from accreditation right now, and launch the program in schools. And what we would do is we'd offer about 5 classes, and your first 4 classes would basically teach all types of things like ethics in business, how to do needs assessments and do a humanitarian project and how to make it self-sustaining, and also just how to really operate a Green Lantern type business, right? Where you grade your success based on the impact you have on the people and on the mission versus the bottom line. Right?
I'm back.
Then, hey, I was just talking about this education program.
I was listening to you, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically the idea would be that in the end of the project, they would go out in their community, identify opportunities, right? Ways they can contribute and help and identify needs by doing a real needs assessment. And then the final stage is we will give them the funds to fund their operation and guide them along the way to actually execute on their project. I mean, how amazing is that? Then you have kids that are changed forever because they get to actually contribute. They get to put that on there. And then, as a result, we'll pay for their college. And then they got to come back and work for us 2 years. But still, you know, we get a chance to change the perception of the way that this generation of kids is thinking about success, right? And that is an incredible opportunity, right? And then we change the security, right? So the militia, whatever you want to call it. Somebody got very upset with me because I mentioned the militia the other day. Whatever you want to call it. You could call it security, you can call it protecting your kids, whatever that is. Every man, woman, and child who inhabits this country is part of the militia. And your job, part of that militia, is to uphold and protect everyone, not just your constitutional freedoms that are afforded to you. Because if yours are in danger, then so am I. So we have to look at that and realize by protecting your rights, I protect my own, right?
So in Virginia now there's sanctuary cities for the militia, right? So now we need to have sanctuary cities also for people who don't want to take vaccinations.
I mean,
well, we just keep hitting because it's the rights, right? We're talking about our rights, and they're trying to take away our rights, and we need to stand up. And we can start with their same tactics. Yes, we want it all nationwide, and there shouldn't be any opposition to these things. But I'm just saying, if we get a city to go along with it, the leaders in the city say, listen, declare this a sanctuary city for people who want to not be injected with unknown items.
Right, which, I mean, and I think this is where the media has got to be held accountable. And so does every doctor, so does the CDC, the FDA, the government itself. I think this is something we really need to capitalize on. The CDC and the United Nations, and I believe the World Health Organization all said the disinformation about vaccines is very dangerous to the population, and I agree. And it's coming directly from those guys.
Yeah.
So that statement I do agree with. The problem is the lie that is perpetuated is that the disinformation comes from anti-vaxxers.
Right.
Right? Being anti-vaxxer, right? All the insane, uninformed, clown posse of working mothers who really don't have time to go and research these things, right? If they would just take a half-assed, and matter of fact, it's worse than that, because the doctors are so overwhelmed trying to just get by, right? They have to see 20 to 30 patients a day, right? Which gives them, on average, about 8 minutes per patient.
One of the reasons,
shocked if they spent that.
One of the reasons why they have to do that is the insurance they have to pay to cover malpractice. So because they have to charge so much, that's why it makes it impossible to go to a doctor, right? Because if a doctor basically just does something and someone claims something against them, it could be, I got a hangnail, he pulled it out wrong. Whatever. I've got pain the rest of my life. Here's, $2 million. So these ridiculous claims against the doctors make them have to have these insurance policies. The insurance policies are very expensive. One doctor friend of mine, his insurance policy was something like $80,000, right?
Yep.
So he's got to collect that back. That's not what he gets to spend in life, right? That's a business cost he's got to cover. So that means he's got to charge the people walking in the door, right? To cover the people that are causing these lawsuits. So this is another part of it, So
Yep.
No, this. They made our the judges and attorneys were having this whole conversation, and my lawyer Paul, his friend Paul, he's told me many times how in law school they train them that they're the ones who really run the country, right? And they decide what things will be, right?
Right.
Now think about it, that's a terrifying idea, right? Because every decision they make is based on can I profit off of this, right?
Yeah.
There's not to say there's not good, attorneys out there, people trying to do the right thing, but they're all duped into the same system.
Before I knew about the 13th Amendment and the Titles of Nobility Act, before I even knew about that, I did this, vote new was what I was trying to, tell people, vote new. Just don't vote for attorneys, news people, or union people to run for office. If you're an attorney, you can't make the laws. It was just like common sense. Why would you put these people in charge of making the laws? It's always like, well, they know the law. That's why we put them in charge. No, they make laws so that they can basically make more money off of everybody.
The whole, operating government is essentially, they're billing for legal services. Even Nancy Pelosi did, we send the bill. Even when something goes through, it's a bill, right? A true bill.
Yeah,
right?
it's a bill. Yeah, it's payable in cash. This is a bill payable in cash.
Right. If you look at a warrant, it actually a warrant always connects back to your bond, right? And actually, Michelle Walker, was taking care of this for me, right? She's like, just in case something ever happens, we need to make sure that we have bail bond for you, right? And you basically just have to write an affidavit saying to call in the bond that they're going to use,
right?
To try to try somebody that they're going to they would use to just charge off on your birth certificate.
Right.
But that system doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So what are they doing now? The whole civil legal system is now broken. Everything they've been doing, there's no place to hide it because they don't get to make money that way. There's nothing to pay. So either they cooperate now, right, which makes every single person who's actually knowledgeable of their rights dangerous, right? Dangerous in the sense that you now stand on equal footing to be able to say, no, I know my rights. And because, I remember being a kid, man, that would always talk about this, about know your rights, right? Now, that has so much more power to me. I just never appreciated it, how important that is. We really have to know our rights. Because the ignorance of our rights will get us in trouble. And allow them to lock us up, put us away, and do all types of things. And this happens to people every single day. They get some bad advice from a lawyer, and all the lawyers, what are they going to say? Look, they don't want you to try this in public. You know what? Don't talk to anybody. Keep it a secret. My goodness, don't do that. Do not, unless it is something that you really can't share because of, some, an actual reason.
Right.
Otherwise, share everything. You look at Carol Wachowski. I was going back through today, and I looked at how she really started this fight for the life of her son, and to take her daughter back, and now she's at least seeing her daughter twice a week right now, which that is by itself a setup. She stood there though in the face of this monster down there, because what they want her to do is take her daughter and run. They're setting her up, right? They give her just enough time to be with her daughter, but she knows what's going on. Meanwhile, the father is now being investigated, right? Finally, for the murder of his son. So, it's like there is a benefit. There is something to be said about standing and fighting for what is yours. Right? Yeah. And we're just so used to being docile and going along with it and thinking that we did something wrong, and We're just so scared. But if we just support each other, right? And if we take the time to support somebody who doesn't know as much, right? And when we don't know what we need to know, we look to somebody who does.
Right. Oh, this is it's a complicated system. I mean, people, going up against the legal system, in general, it's complicated. It's scary, right? It's meant to be. But beyond that, that's just the mirage. The real story is behind here, and that's 10 times more complicated.
Right.
So it's like, how do you take those steps? It's a full-time job, and it shouldn't be. This is the ridiculousness of this of what they put everyone in. And they treat everyone as an imbecile. That's why I said you can't have the attorneys writing the rules because they make it so that only they understand. Or
Yep.
or comprehend.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. When I talked to this gentleman the other day who was very impressive, and I really appreciated the things he had to say. But in the end, what he wanted was he didn't want the system to change. What he wanted to do was capitalize off, the loophole, basically, right? Get them to pay for everything. Right? And he basically wanted to get like $10,000 a month to live a very comfortable life, and basically charge off all of his bills and everything else, to the, to the treasury, have them pay the bills. And he had it all worked out lawfully how you do it, right? And it was very impressive, and I'm sure that is something that is possible somehow, But usually, I'm sure those people get the hell beaten out of them, right? At least in my experience, those people nobody really ends up pulling it off, right? But that's all he wanted to do. Right, he just wanted to be part of that 5%. He said, I expect about 3 to 5% of the people will start to do this and catch on, because then maybe over 20 years, maybe 10%. And he was talking about it like that. I'm like that's what you want to do? And so I immediately knew, I'm like, we're not on the same page, man. I'm looking to I'm looking to take out the beast. I'm not trying to fit into a broken system.
Right.
Like we need to change the system. I tell people this all the time, and whenever they start to work with me, I'm like, look, I'm not doing this to try to, to be successful as a pirate, I want to change the system.
You don't want to be a successful pirate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
so it's like.
No, it's like I'm looking at changing the world financial system. Right, it's been a goal. To change it, right? Well, by presenting something, a better system that would work, and I just take steps towards it. And I've dealt with some very serious people in the financial world over the years, and they scratch their head and they just can't see or comprehend how someone could actually think that could be accomplished. Well, I mean, whatever, the first Rothschild, whatever it was, he had the idea.
He figured out a way to change it, right?
Yeah, he figured it out, and they were just saying, what? People are just stacking their gold behind here, and I'm just lending it out over here. No one knows how much I've got back there. I can lend out more than I actually have.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And that's what started the fractional reserve banking, right? It's like giving out more than you actually have, right? And then they're making the money on it. They're making the profit, right? Without a good reason to, right?
Absolutely. And that's exactly that kind of thing to me is just. Is deplorable. I don't want any part of that. I don't want to thrive at the expense of those with nothing, right? So that I can get into black tie parties and satanic rituals and whatever else other bullshit they esteem as being wonderful, right?
Right.
So I don't want to be a part of that. What I want to be a part of is the rejuvenation, the revitalization of the human spirit. That we can actually take people who have waited their whole life for the opportunity to express their talents, their ideas, their inventions,
and have somebody believe in them enough to support what they're doing. And I want to be able to support those people. That is my sole purpose in all this. That I can bring those amazing, incredible inventions to life. You know what? And hopefully, I would expect I'll get the benefit from them too, right? Because if we get somebody to run free energy, or to fund a plant that builds free energy devices, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I buy one of the first ones, right? Because I should probably have some pretty up to date information, be able to do that for myself, and I should be able to grab and build greenhouses that can work all year round and provide organic, fresh, natural food. And you know what? We should be able to go after, the EPA and every other retard organization that thinks it's okay to put fluoride in the water. It's using biological weapons against the American people, and the American people think it's good for them. And nobody's being held accountable. We should be able to take those people down. And I am so excited to have the chance to be empowered to do that. Because I see how to do it. And if I can, and this gentleman, I was talking to him and I was thinking we were going to be able to partner, right? And then he started talking about what he was doing. I'm like, no, man, that's not it. Then you got a broken system. You still got the same corrupt leaders doing stuff. And what does he get out of it? He gets a comfortable lifestyle while they're plotting the genocide of everybody. I'm like, come on. Think better, man.
Yeah. No, that's it. Having it's like moving aside and like letting everything else happen. You just get yours, right? It's we've got too much to do.
The time of that, the time of these statements, which we all think are politically correct, right? I'm just minding my business. Man, people are your business. They're your business too. You see somebody else's kids, something happen, that's your business. I'm a fan of interfering. I can't help it. I just don't care. Like, you know what? I know people are like, I don't give out advice. I'm like, I do. All the time. Unwarranted, unsolicited, bring up topics that people don't want to talk about. I do not care. You know what? I see the system as being broken, and if I think I have a better way, you know what? I have no problem speaking up. And I'll tell you what, but the reason why is because I don't mind taking correction if I'm wrong. If you can take correction, why not speak up? If there's a better way, show me. Mm-hmm. Show me a better way. Because I'll tell you what, in the meantime, I'm going to show. My attitude is I'm going to make sure that everything we do is a show. Not a show like a fake show, but we're going to put it all on display. We're going to be completely transparent. We'll put all of our finances out there so everybody can see exactly what's there. They can see how the money's being spent, and we can show them how you can change the world with a fraction of what these other characters have claimed. The way that they failed with everything, we can take a fraction of that, change everything back. Or not back, but to be something better. That's exciting.
Yep. We're in that process definitely. I'm excited, about the these steps that are being in place. There's so many things to talk about. I get lost in which one should cover. That's why I'm just trying to stay focused on the launch of the project and getting the people in alignment with what it means, right? And how it's about abundance. How do we make it there? We bypass the problems if we just create the solution.
There you go. That is, I 1000% agree. You know what? If we just focus on solutions, I don't even care what they're doing. I see it's obvious what they're doing. We don't have to talk about it all the time. Like what a debacle. I mean, all the alternative media, they follow the same pattern that the mainstream does. Talk about the tragedy. Remind people how tragic it is. Remind people how desperate it is. You know what? How about this? How about that you are made of source, right? And Kim wrote this, and I recommend anybody looking it up, but she, I can't remember the exact date,
But if you go on the Speed Project and look through Kim's archives, you'll see this article where she talks about the quantum system. And she talks about how she powered the entire quantum system with source energy. And she says how in one atom, you have enough power to run everything on the planet 1,000 times. Something like that, right? In one atom. Because you have an infinite source of energy from the ultimate source, which all of us are created from, which all of us are connected to and connected by. Now, if that exists, and you are made up, your body, every ounce of you, is made up of that energy. The human heart emits like 500 times the electrical charge of the brain, right? And if we just make decisions from the heart, rather than trying to logically rationalize it out, but we just start moving that way, do you honestly think there's any force anywhere in any existence that could stop our success? No, there's nothing. There's nothing. So to talk about their problems and get that power, what we're doing is we are deafening and muting the voice and the strength of our heart. But our heart is miraculous. I mean, just physically speaking, it's miraculous. You know, your heart, you could have 100% arteries blocked. You could have your arteries completely blocked. You know what your heart does? It creates new pathways so that you can get the blood through, so you stay alive.
Yep.
Your heart is responsible for exchanging a substance that could kill you in carbon dioxide with a life-giving force in oxygen. Then it circulates all throughout your body so that every part of your body is included in the process.
You know, I had a friend of mine who had a massive heart attack from Dolce de Leche ice cream and honey bunches of oat. You know, so that
Really?
that's what his heart surgeon asked him. You know, he actually asked them one thing. He literally said the name of the cereal. The heart surgeon asked him, "Do you eat honey bunches of oat?" Because it was so heavy in this what's it? The hydrogenated oil that it gathers in the lower ventricle. That it kind of gathers, that gathers and ends up blocking it. So he's literally seen enough of it that it's an actual pattern. So but anyway, so his heart was down to like 20% or something like that. That he had 20% good muscle. The rest of it was dead. That's how bad it was. But he changed his life about everything. He was really, really afraid of dying, right? And he put all of that energy into a regimen, and he ate only the best of foods, even on a very poor diet. He's an artist. Right? He's a starving artist to the extreme, and he literally had taken this, made this exercise plan where he'd jog for 30 minutes a day. Of course, he had to work his way up to that. But,
Right.
And he only took one day off a week. And he only ate good fats. He only ate avocado and chicken without fat, without the skin, or certain vegetables, and no sugars, no fats, and he, over a period of about a year and a half, revascularized his heart to where it actually was a completely new heart.
Yep.
And
now I'll tell you, in the world of heart failure, which that's what you're describing as heart failure.
Yeah.
When you have heart failure, what they tell you is you can never regenerate that part of your heart. That's what the doctors say.
Exactly. Now that's called the Kaufman Protocol. So they named it because of what he did, right? And he was, he was he had a lot of metaphysical training in his past, and understood a lot of this, even though he tended to be a very negative fellow. Right? And
Yeah.
I would watch him literally with this aura of negativity going around his apartment, and he'd go buy something when he's in one of these super negative states, and things would just knock out of the way without him touching them. Right? So,
Yeah.
he pastor. So, we're powerful beings, right? But even the ones that are have training to do things, still get into a position where they don't actually recognize their own power, right? But in this case, he did change everything. But his and he stopped smoking. That was also one of the big things.
Well, this is my favorite thing about the heart.
Yeah.
The heart, no matter what you do, you overeat, you abuse it, you smoke, you drink too much, do drugs, you know that your heart will actually grow. It's called an enlarged heart, right? But it's actually your body, it's your heart's way of expanding so that you can stay alive, right? Now, I think about this, and I tell my kids this I talk to my kids, my poor kids, I'm indoctrinating them with things all the time. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, be like the heart. Be like the heart. The heart, it works and it rests. It works and it rests. And as long as your heart's beating, you are still alive. And your heart finds new ways around obstacles, even when it seems impossible. Your heart gets bigger based on the obstacles it's presented with. Your heart finds a way, and it stays with you. It beats your entire life. Now, and not only that, but your heart is not just the one organ in your chest. It's actually the entire cardiovascular system. And if you were to take away all the flesh and all the bones of the body and just look at the cardiovascular system, you could still see that it's a man or a human, right? Because you'll have veins and arteries, right? They'll make up that whole body. And you have this exhibit called the body exhibit, right? And they basically fired silicone into the veins and arteries of these people that died, and they put this on display, and you can see the whole shape and form of the human body in that heart, right? So I just think like that is that, in this, it's much better for us to be heart-centered. So I mean that literally, physically, spiritually, metaphysically, however you see the heart to be. But, all of the principles are solid. And that's the opportunity we have, right? That's what they could not kill, right? And that letter says the same thing. You haven't stopped caring and loving, because no matter what they have thrown at us, what they've erased our history. We don't even know what the truth is. We don't know, right? We don't know exactly what happened. We're not sure.
Right.
Atlantis was here, but we have glimpses of memories. Lemuria, we have history goes back to 500 million years or something, right? You have all these different versions of things that have happened, and to navigate through that is really, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. But despite all that, all we've been subjected to, this entire growing experience, they have never been able to take away what it means to feel love. It's the one thing that is real, no matter what happens. And the way you feel about your kids, my gosh, having a child is like forever, allowing your heart to exist outside your body. I mean, you can't quantify the way you love your kids. Your kids will make you crazy, and you'll do anything for them. Anything. That they were never allowed to take. The feeling of the feeling and desire to be in love and to pursue love. We spend our whole lives sometimes looking for someone to complete us, right? I mean, the pursuit of love, all of these things, it is love that has sustained us. The act of making love produces offspring. It's the act of creation. It's an amazing thing that despite everything, so to that letter's, request, I thank my fellow human, the other people on this planet who have found a way to love, despite knowing that they exist in a slave system, knowing that there's been injustice perpetuated against them, knowing that they have not been dealt a fair hand, but they still find a way to love their kids. They still, that women like Kara Wachowski, can pick herself up after her son is killed, after a judge wrongly, she gets absolutely no justice. She's completely abused and dismissed and expected to stay quiet. That she stands up because she still has a daughter. And that love is so strong that it can overcome grief. That love is so strong that despite everything being against her, she stands up every day, gets online, gets on social media, gets on shows, does all she can to fight for her son, for her daughter, for her son's legacy, I guess, and for the right to be the mother that she already is to her daughter. That is why they are terrified of us. Because when you can be love like that, you can demonstrate, manifest, embody, feel, encompass, and create better situations, better pathways, that you can enlarge your field, that you can expand the way the heart does because the obstacles are so great. How could they possibly beat us? We don't have anything to be afraid of. So that's exciting. That's exciting.
It's amazing everything they do with their own children to stop, the idea of care for their children. They give their own physical, birth children to others to raise, so that they don't have the same parental feelings, right? This is one of their tactics to desensitize themselves from loving and caring. They put it into their rituals, right? To kill the baby care, right? These type of things are just like, why would they really want to do this? It's because they're sold on this idea of power, and if they do these things, they gain power. Now, because their system is set up to reward those people that are participating with them with power, they think it works. Well, in that matter, it does. It works too. But it works the other way too. If you didn't do those horrible things, and you did good things, and worked with people that were promoting good things, you'd also have power.
Yes, that's right. That's a beautiful point, man. You're right.
Yeah.
Because going the other way is so much more powerful. That is the thing. It really stymies it stagnates their entire existence to be something more. They're just trying to maintain control, but they haven't made any progress. Humanity is far behind where we should be because the technology is here. The inventors are here. The minds are here. Everything's here. The patents, the inventions. Some of the people in my network, when I just reach out to see what they're doing, my gosh, they're just, what an amazing group of people. Inventions that you can't even believe are that far, developed that we could do that, right? And they're here, So, it's an incredible thing, It's really just an incredible phenomenon. And I think on some level that we've had the opportunity to kind of, show the universe how to love, despite impossible odds. Because you got to think the same group has been devouring planets, right? The destroyer, right? Has been destroying planets. This destroying comes in and devours everything, all the resources, bases everything on fear. So this is the balance, the time to create real balance. Where, and that means, for a long time to come, that we are supported, by God, by Source, right? By the source of all life and all things that connects all of us. So it's time for us to put away the trivial matters that we thought were so important. When we were in a fight this morning with somebody about, because they took our parking spot, right? And we thought that was the biggest thing that ever happened, right? It ruined our whole day. time to put nonsense like that away and just be like, how did we get forward together, right? And actually make that mean something, right? Actually, be willing to put yourself, on the line.
Yeah.
Put your name on the line.
I just realized, when you said that I had this, Christmas shopping experience, out with a parking space, right? When you're traveling in the parking lot in the mall, right? And you're traveling up the corkscrew, right? Going up and up, looking for a space, and then you see someone heading out to their car, right? And so you stop, right? And then you're waiting for them to get in their car and leave, right? Well, it happened to me where I stopped, right? And the car that was behind, ahead of me, had stopped just at the place, at the car that was leaving, right? I'm just behind, and they're blocking the car. They want me to back up, right? So that they can back up and take that parking space. And I said, no, I'm not backing up. All right. And so they're just sitting there waiting, and the guy's waiting, to exit, right? Because he's got a car behind him, right? I'm not stopping them, right? It's the guy that's right there in front of me, right? So anyway, he eventually leaves, but he's mad, right? He screeches out of the way and turns up and around the corner, right? So the guy leaves, and I pull in, and he's he said, "What was up with that guy?" I said, I don't know. Maybe he needs to get to Christmas shopping pretty quick. I don't know. So I was then all right. Well, I won that battle, right? That was kind of my feeling. It's like, no, I didn't back down. I didn't. It wasn't his spot. He'd already. That's the rules of the parking lot, right? If you're already past the spot, right, you're past the spot. You don't get a do-over.
Right. Sure.
So
I've always found road rage to be kind of a funny thing. I always feel like the things that make people mad, it never really have made me mad, but I get mad about other things. But I've literally pulled my car over when people are like laying on their horn to me. Yeah. I've pulled my car over, stopped it right in front of them. I'll get out and I'll go back to that car, and I'll be like, "Are you okay?" Because I think to myself, and I joke about it with them, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, because there was 4 cars in front of me, I couldn't move. So when you started laying on your horn, I thought, you must be in danger. Because why else would you do that? Because I can't do anything. Yeah. So I've literally done that many times, actually.
Yeah, I've done it myself. I'm with you on that. Someone honking behind me, they're literally about to bump me, right? You can tell they're coming so close. I'm looking in my rearview mirror. What's up with this guy?
But I always do it in a fun way. Just have fun with them, and like sometimes they get pissed off, but.
No, I know. It's like I know I did it in a very is there something wrong? Yeah. What's wrong? Is there a problem?
No, I approach it like it's an emergency, and I'm taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
Like they've been taken hostage. Like, are you okay? What's happening? Because I can't help it, man. I'm just a clown. These things at heart. I think that all of these things we take so seriously. It's like, what? In the midst of it, there's joy, and we can laugh about it, and we can just call out our own futility and silliness about like why are we taking this so seriously? Like how much faster are you going to? What is so important that you're doing that the 30 seconds you're going to save? If I move out of your way or something like that, like what is it really? And in the meantime, you're acting like a damn fool. You're teaching your kid that. If something doesn't go your way, it's okay to act like a jerk.
Yeah. Well, I dealt with my road rage in the beginning. I never really was overly, rageous with it, but occasionally, you get really upset. There's things going on, and you get upset with the traffic. Right? That was a long time ago. I'm just not that way anymore. But in the beginning, I remember there was this comedian called Gallagher famous for like
Yeah, I remember Gallagher. Sure.
whacking the watermelons
Bash
with
the
a big hammer.
watermelons.
Yeah, and splatter the watermelon over the people in the front rows. Well, he came up with this skit where he was basically talking. He got this big dart gun, right? And he said, "This is what you do: is you know when you get someone in road rage, you know, and they cut you off or something, you just take out your dart gun and you shoot the dart, and it's a big sticker, right? You know, it's one of those like suction cups, right? And it sticks on the back, and there's a little flag that says stupid." And then a cop going around, he sees this car with a bunch of stupid flags on the back of it, gives him a ticket for being stupid. So I took it another step forward. You know, I said, well, you know, let me do something. You know, for those stupid drivers out there, what I do is I mount under the, you know, in the front of my hood in an inconspicuous way a laser.
Okay.
Right, and literally when I press the button, it would actually literally write "stupid" by etching the paint.
I'm sure that's not lawful. Sure.
Well, but they were stupid.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, people were stupid who, you know, eugenics decided couldn't have kids too, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
so
but
I think there's some ethical.
Yeah, it might be. It might
Still
be.
funny.
But yeah, anyway, but I never did it. But it was I was kind of making plans, you know. Saying, if I was going to go ahead and do this, yeah. If I was as I was like Dr. Evil, right? I'd be a really great Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Sure. Yes, you would, Dan. Yes, you would.
I decided not to take that path. That's just that too. The wrong timeline. Wrong timeline.
Right. Well, anyways, everything's looking up, and I'm very encouraged by what I am very, very confident in is this declaration and this notification from the Universal Council. So I expect things to be going our way. You know, every day I expect things to get better, and I expect, today to be an excellent and amazing day. And my dream right now, my hope and desire is that we're actually able to squeak in some funding before Christmas, and I can actually, reach out to some of our members and hopefully all of them and give them some kind of relief, you know, and just let them, kind of have a nice Christmas, go spoil their families for a little bit, and know that we have a lot of work to do in the new year. You know, just take a week off and, love up their kids and, try to make things right in the world that have been, kind of jacked up.
Yeah.
So let's hope. Yeah. And with that being said, man, that's all I got. But
hey, I want you to go ahead and check out something I sent you in Telegram. I sent it to Sid also. She didn't catch what it was, but you'll probably get it. I'll send this little. I sent her a little additional note, but she wasn't exactly catching what the let's say the opportunity is. I'll send it to you as well. A little note. And then from me, I forwarded you something, right? So I just want to make sure you get what it's about. I don't want to. I don't want to say, but what it is. Anyway, I'm sending you the little note right now. Anyway, so just so no.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Sid didn't catch it. So anyway, so yeah, well, we're close to on so many fronts. So tomorrow is the last show before my launch. And anyone interested in joining, please go ahead and contact me in Telegram, and I will direct you on how you are to participate and get signed up with the Zoom link. So we're in the final hours countdown.
Yes, indeed. All right, man. I'm excited for your launch too. Everybody, have a great night. Dan, appreciate you. Thank you as always, and we'll have a good night. All right.
All right. Good night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe and share and pass out this video by copy and pasting the link. And do what you can, or I'll see you tomorrow.